Hello everyone, Larry Satchwell here. Spring has sprung for the most part in Georgia, but tomorrow night and the night after, tomorrow night 29 degrees, the day after 30 degrees, 2 nights ago 36 degrees. So we are not finished with frost, but I see all kinds of tomato plants and pepper plants going out as I visit the big boxes and the nurseries. I hope people understand that it's too early. But spring has sprung, as I said. It's not usual for the redbuds and the dogwoods to be blooming at the same time, but when they do, it's really pretty. We have pollen everywhere. This is pine pollen this time of year. It gets all over everything. My wife has hard contacts. It drives her nuts. It makes my nose run, and you'll see it all over the plants as I give you a tour. A few days ago, I got my strawberry plants, and it's been raining. For 2 days after that, we've had about 28, 30 hours of dry weather now. We're expected a big rain tomorrow, so it's time to get these in. Well, as you can see, these strawberries have come a long way since I healed them in. So I'm gently going to lift them out of here. A little worm attached to this one. I don't want these roots to dry out. You can see some nice white new roots coming on. That's exactly what I would expect. I'm going to tuck these under right here. Just tuck them under some dirt while I work this bed and get right back to them. My turkey friend's going to have to leave. When I tested the soil recently, I realized I was low on potassium and potash. So I'm going to add some banana peels. I know this isn't going to solve my potassium problem by itself, but the more banana peels I add here and keep doing it, in the long run, it should increase the potassium. Just want to kind of spread these out. I also have some Job's annual and perennial granular food. In Georgia, it's really, really hard to grow organically. We just have too many pests. So I like to keep it as natural as I can, but I don't think there's a great deal of profit in just using organic fertilizers. So this is a, what was this? A 3-5-4. So it is lowest in nitrogen. I'm going to give plenty of handfuls of this right here. Doesn't smell real good. I looked at the organics. I just couldn't find anything with enough potassium in it and potash. So that's why I went with the Job's. It had the greatest amount of bang for the buck. I also have the wood ashes from the wood stove, and I'm going to put those over here. This will add the potash. Now, do I expect this soil to turn the way it should overnight? No, but over time, it should help. And now all I need to do is turn this over. I think I forgot to mention that this is also a hugelkultur bed, which means there's a lot of wood and brush material under there. I hit some of it when I was turning it over, but I'm mounting it up in the middle for a couple of reasons. One is that starts to decompose, this whole bed's going to sink a few inches, and you can see that in some of the other hugelkultural beds already. The other thing is, in these trenches here, I can add fresh manure and let it compost in here gradually, And as this bed sinks, it will become level and everything will work out. I hope. In planting the strawberries, you want to leave this crown right here above the ground. Right there is where the depth I should plant it in. Now this soil is pretty loose, so I need to compact it a little bit on top here before I add these. Otherwise, in the first hard rain we have tomorrow, this ground's going to sink and it's going to leave my root ball exposed. The other thing is, these are called bare root plants. You may get them at the garden center right now as strawberry plants. You can see the pollen on there. You want to make sure that you have the roots nice and straight. These have been cut off by the company that sent them to me, Pine Tree Seeds. This is a variety called All-Star. So I think I've got 10 plants here. I'm going to plant them right down the middle, and eventually this whole bed will be full of these. This is a June bearing plant, and just like it says, this is going to bear most of its berries in June. Getting them in this late, I'll probably get berries by mid to late July. I'm going to put them roughly a foot apart. So I have 10 plants, 8 of them fit in that 8-foot bed, of course. And here's a couple of extra ones. So I've just mounded up the dirt here. And again, I want to get those nice and straight. I'll just add this one right here. And this side of the bed will have a little bit of a head start. Now I do want to mulch these right on top, but I want to wait until after this first rain. After we get this rain tomorrow, I want to come back here and make any adjustments I need to make for that rain, depending on how hard it was, from pounding this ground down and disturbing where I've planted them. After that, I'll add the mulch. Main tomato plants are still down at the greenhouse, and I'll probably pick those up in a week or so just to get them out of his way and bring them up here. I won't put them out, but I found this very interesting. Here's my experiment with the walls of water. This is in the white one with a mainly open top. But look at this one and the red one that's supposed to be better for tomatoes. It's almost coming out of the top. It's 68 degrees in here right now, and there's even some bugs eating on this one. Original walls of water, the original color, and it's doing better too. Now, what do I attribute this to? I think that because of the white one being so open, that it's getting a little cooler at night. But the red one is no more open than the original, so I agree with the scientists that the red one is probably better for tomato plants. The raspberries are really going to town now. I had one cabbage head burst open. I fed it to the chickens. This is going to be a good year for butterflies. I'm seeing more butterflies so soon. I've never seen this many this early. Here's the strawberry beds that I kept covered, and you see I still have the covers on them. I will probably cover these tomorrow night because they are so full of bloom. This is an ever-bearing variety called Early Girl or Early Glow. I don't exactly remember, but they are doing well. And again, I'll mulch these at the same time I mulch the others. This is the other half of the bed I just planted, and they're doing great. This is another Hugo bed that I made from scrap wood last year. Again, it's full of ever-bearing strawberries. I'm hoping that we get enough strawberries this year to either freeze or make some jam. Normally, when the grandkids come, they kind of eat them as they go. These are planted from seed last year. They're a biannual, which means they bloom in the second year. These were one of my mother's favorite plants. Got another one down here that's not doing nearly as well. A few in here. She would tell me that they used to make dolls out of them back in the early 40s and mid 40s. I'm not sure how she did it because she never showed me, But anytime you can keep a memory of a loved one going, I think it's a good thing. On this lettuce, these are my these onions we haven't eaten because these are my main crop that will let grow into bulbs. The second half of this wild mix did not come up for some reason. And as you can see, we've been eating the spinach and it's full of pollen. Very hard to clean right now. The peas that I transplanted and the peas that came up from seed, I put these cages in here for them to grow on. Not a lot of peas here, but it'll be enough for a couple meals. I'm really happy about the logs I put in here last year. They don't seem to be showing much sign of rot. When you push on them, they're still very solid. So I think I'll get at least another year out of those. This part of my garden bed used to be just overrun with weeds and things. And I've been cleaning it up for the last couple of years. Today I want to plant these Jerusalem artichokes in here. I got these at the farmer's market. They're organic and they have little eyes on them just like potatoes. Some of them were pretty large, so I cut them in half. These will grow up 10 to 12 feet high and have multiple heads that look like sunflowers on them. They are, of course, edible. We've tried them before, don't really care for them, but I love the flower. So I'm going to plant a couple of these along this fence so I can tie it to the fence for support. This is nice, rich, organic soil right now. I've been adding mulches and manures to it and trying to kill these perennial weeds that come up every year, and these are winter weeds. We'll plant a couple of them pretty deep like this because I think they'll overwinter well. I don't plan on harvesting these. I want to put a flag up there where I plant them, so when they start coming up, I know they're not weeds. I also like to plant these between the canna lilies. The canna lilies will bloom. They're about 8 feet tall, and these will be up above them. These flags will also let me know if they don't come up. I put lots of pre-emergent last fall on here, but it just didn't seem to do much good. The daffodils, for the most part, have come and gone. I really like this one that has double blooms on it. The echinacea is coming back right here. In this tomato cage, I've got a black-eyed Susan coming on. Up there are paper whites, and I planted those about 4 years ago. They're not supposed to come back, but they do about every other year, and they bloom right in the middle of winter. I usually take them in and put them on the dining room table. I've planted lots of it. I wanted to make it look like a river coming down here, but I need to add about 1,000 more bulbs. My weeping split leaf maple is just coming into leaf. It's going to look beautiful in about a week. Foxgloves, I'm so disappointed. It looks like a drainage problem. I splurged last year and bought a couple. I never spend $10 on plants, but I did this time. This one I've already lost, but it looks to me like they're just not draining properly. And this is a terrible time to lift them, but I may have to do that just to try to save them. Valley are starting to bloom. One of my wife's favorite flowers, and these came from her parents and my mom's house. And I need to transplant them, I think, into more sun. The blueberry plants are blooming as usual, way too soon. With this frost coming the next couple of nights, we are sure to lose some. But sometimes that's not a bad thing because sometimes they just have too many. I think that's where I'll leave you here today with this garden update. I hope spring is springing soon wherever you live and that your garden will flourish this year. Thanks for watching.